Welcome. April 2nd City Council meeting. We'll start with the prayer. Dear God, today as the session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city to make it a better place to live and work. Amen. To the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Janess.
Here.
Council Leahy. Here. Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Here.
Council Robinson.
Here.
Mayor Rourke.
Here.
Council Scott.
Here.
Council Yem.
Here.
Council Chow. Council Dakota.
Here.
Council Gitchia.
Here.
I'm present.
2, Mayor's Business Communication, Zoom participation. A motion to accept and place on file by Council Dakota, second by Council Gitchia. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 2.2, we do have a recognition. This is National Public Health Week. If possible, I'd like to have our Health Director, Lisa Golden, please come up. This is from April 1st to April 7th, 2024 is National Public Health Week. The theme this year is public health is where you are. I will read something from the city, but first I'd like to have our Health Director please say a few words. Ms. Golden.
Thank you, Mayor, Manager, Councilors. I brought some of the staff with me today because I know that you guys see my face quite a bit, but I wanted you to see some of the staff that actually works behind the scenes.
Well, if they can come up and join you at the podium, that'd be great.
You want to come join me? They're a little bit shy.
That's okay. It's all right. We are not. So
I told them that there wouldn't be any photos. So
well, they're not going to. They have to come up
you
and
have to do what the mayor says. They're behind the scenes.
Right.
So nothing brings public health to the forefront like a pandemic of just a little bit under 4 years. So the health department has a lot of aspects. We do a lot of things behind the scenes like school health, public health. COVID has bought quite a few positions, a lot of ARPA money to the city, tobacco control. We have homelessness underneath of us, which you guys have seen my face a lot with that. And then we do a lot of other things to fight disease control. I'm not going to say a lot because the mayor's going to say a lot of things. So the only things I'm going to say are if you're sick, stay home, since we're not doing 5 days of isolation, masking, walking different ways in the supermarket anymore, and doing funny things. And then my favorite, coughing into your elbow and wash your hands twice, singing happy birthday. Thank you.
Great, Lisa. Thank you very much, and thank you for your team behind you. So once again, this is National Public Health Week, April 1st and to the 7th. It did start yesterday, and myself, the mayor, and also my colleagues on the City Council hereby proclaim the week as National Public Health Week in the City of Lowell, and call upon the people of Lowell to observe this week by learning more about the value of public health and adopting the preventative lifestyle habits in light of this year's theme, public health is where you are. So once again, thank you very much for all your work and your outreach and everything that you and your team do for the city. Thank you very much. Section 3 of City Clerk, 3.1. The minutes of the Economic Downtown Development Subcommittee, March 26th. City Council regular meeting, March 26th for acceptance. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Yam and second by Councilor Mercia. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Section 4, City Council motions. 4.1, Councilor Leahy requests City Manager prepare a comparison regarding city health plans with other major providers. Seconded by Councilor Noon. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you.
I'm just asking if we can do a comparison. It just seems like every day you go into your doctor's office for something, and we're paying more and more every year. So, I just went for blood work the other day, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it's an extra $130 just to get your blood drawn, which your doctor asks you. So I don't know why the costs are going out of control lately, but if the GIC is the best way to stay, then, but if not, we could compare to other carriers. Thank you.
Great. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.2, Council Leahy, request city manager work with the state delegation to expedite the Heard Street Courthouse project in order to create more housing. Seconded by,
Mr. Mayor, may I request?
we're going to second it first
Right.
by Councilor Noon.
May I make a motion to refer this into an executive session, because we had last year talked about this in the executive session. So I would like an opportunity to talk more in detail with the manager and his team in executive session. Thank you.
I was going to say motion speaks for itself, but that's fine. And I know it's on the I just want to keep it on the forefront, so that's fine if we send it there.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the ad hoc Superior Court subcommittee, I think the Commissioner DCAM, Adam Backey, give detail at length, as well as Representative Elliott spoke on this, is that pending approval by the legislature, a special legislation, one that happened. I think the DCAM, working with the city director, assistant city manager, directors of DPD, Giovanni Rose, is already preparing the OIP. One day receiving the legislation passed, they move on this as quick as possible and then put it out the OFP. And that we had to make a decision on that at that time. So it's working. It's working. Just that how the lawmaker, Mr. Manager, you will want. Then the lawmaker, you work very slow. Then there. I mean, you know what I mean. So it takes time. One is done. One is done. One is done. Our assistant city managers is ready and with the DCAM to do that. And that's the report we learned at that meeting. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Getchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. I did ask that question through you to the city solicitor about, does this have to go in executive session, because we already talked about it, and through you to the city solicitor, if he could explain where we are and the reasons why we wouldn't have to, that would be good.
Mr. Solicitor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't see a reason why we would have to go back into executive session to have these discussions, just with the special legislation already out there and it's already been spoken about at different subcommittee meetings. I don't see a reason why, so I think that could be discussed on the floor or somewhere else, in my opinion. But again, I would leave that up to you.
How about this? We'll have the report come back
Yes.
based on the motion.
Yes.
We've already had multiple conversations about it, and then we can decide what the council would like to do.
Thank you. I will draw that motion, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Councilor Roberts.
Thank you. Through you to the city manager. Is there still ongoing negotiations with this parcel, though? Okay, so say legislation goes through. Obviously, we'll partner with DCAM for the RFP, but as far as the specifics, is there still ongoing negotiations with TIFs or anything that might be on the table? If so, then maybe we want to consider keeping it in executive session. If not, then it's really the administration knows where this project is, and we don't.
So how about this? We have a report that's going to come back to the council from the manager and his team, and then if we decide to go to executive session, we can do that, or we can just go about to the work that you and your subcommittee are doing. Make sense? Great. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.3, Councilor Dakota, request city manager include Chelmsford Street from Stevens to the Chelmsford Town Line for the 2024 spring summer repaving list. Second by Councilor Getchia. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know Councilor Getchia and myself have gotten quite a few phone calls from our Highland constituents. If you enter or exit the Cross Point Towers there, it's like the back roads of Morocco. It's pretty bad around there. And actually, I think the city put up a barrel on the side of that street because it's not even a pothole situation at this point. The road is disintegrating, and it's pretty bad around there. And the amount of cars are obviously coming off for Route 3 onto Chelmsford Street. I don't see that portion of Chelmsford Street lasting another year, so I would ask you to consider putting that on the list. Thank you.
Councilor Getchia?
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Through you to Manager Golden. I know in the past, before your administration, we didn't communicate back and forth on road conditions and potholes and stuff, and through what's going to the solicitor's office and what's happening for a lot of the filings. Do we do that currently? Because Chelmsford Street, if you go back to, say, November, it is the most claims put against the city is that road area right there. And I'm just wondering, do we define some of our road work based off of that? I know you said at one point we were going to saw cut that little area and try to patch it over, but is it something that, it does extend down to the line when you go over and really review that road? And I'm just wondering, is it a waste of money to do it that way or just do that whole area? And I'm wondering, do we take that into account today, moving forward, all the claims that are there, and go out and rate those roads based off of that? That's all.
Manager Golden?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. Council, as we started looking at this, and I want to thank Council Dakota and Council Getchia for bringing this up, the RSR value wasn't, that's the road value, wasn't matching what it was 3 years ago. So that's item number one. We are waiting on an RSR currently right now to start a new proposal. But when that happens, I had asked our engineer to reach out to National Grid as well to find out what kind of piping we have under there. And that's something I should be able to get back to you rather quickly, I would hope, to answer these questions. My concern would be if it is indeed cast iron, if we can kind of push them to do this, we wouldn't waste it. However, if they don't have plans to replace it at this time, given what I know about the roadway, it's probably a candidate that we could look at in what we call localized paving. And that localized paving is really meant for a stretch from Stevens Street, not exactly to the Chelmsford line, but we can push that.
It's more the east side.
Sure.
Manager, yeah.
Right.
For some reason, it's just...
So in any hope or luck, if it's just the east side and that's not the side where the gas lines are that they're hoping to replace, but let me find out from National Grid what their time schedule is, because we wouldn't, of course, want to do a mill and overlay or a reclaim and then all of a sudden have them come back and say we need to replace that. So if you could probably give me 1 week on this, I'll have this back quick.
I would love to see both sides done, so when you drive in from Chelmsford, they go, wow, look at Lowell's roads. If you go to Drum Hill, it's a complete disaster, and I don't know what people are talking about. Chelmsford's better than Lowell in their roads. If you go to Drum Hill, you would certainly say Lowell's roads are much better, because once you hit the Lowell line, you understand that the road work is being done. So I think the same process should happen there, and send a message to everybody that the road work is here.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.4, Council Scott requests City Manager have the appropriate department provide quarterly reporting to the council showing progress towards meeting master plan goals. Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a lot of work has gone into the master plan and setting our direction for the next 20 years. And I know that there was a commitment made that we would receive updates. And I just kind of wanted to solidify some type of schedule, whether that's quarterly or even biannual. I know this is a long-term plan, so maybe quarterly, maybe too often. But just to keep it a living, working document, my intention was, just to keep us all accountable and transparent. So, thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.5, Councilor Getchia requests City Manager update the City Council on the status of the River Walkway. Seconded by Councilor Janess. Councilor Getchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. I didn't have a chance to reach out to Councilor Janess, but he shared the same concerns when he saw we talked back and forth. But, it's been a month, and the same brick is still on that walkway. And whether we go out for emergency service and back charge the owner of the property, or we figure it out, is that structure safe to walk by? But we should get that off of that walkway, because every day that goes by, it's deteriorating. The walkway, it has, it's leaving impressions on it. So I just hope that we have some movement on this. It's been a month now, so thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.6, Council Getchia requests city manager have the proper department look into moving the playground at the Bailey School to the area around the Jack Bowers Monument that is currently paved for activities. Also look into making extra parking out of the current playground. Seconded by Councilor Mercer. Councilor Getchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. There are pictures, I don't know if they can put them up on the screen, but when you look at the area for the playground, it doesn't even match the activity of where kids would go to be around the fields. So if you're down there with, say, your family watching a baseball game, you have to go to the left side of the Bailey School to even go on the playground. And the playground's deteriorated, it's ready to be replaced anyway, so now would be a good time to make that more of a parking area. And then the other issue is when you go to the school, you see that picture that's up now, people are parking on where the box ball is and all of the hopscotch and all of that stuff is. So, and that's a monument right there. And it's an area that was supposed to be protected for kids to actually enjoy for outside use. And now it's become an overflow parking area because of the issues down there. So if you do look at the school itself, it really doesn't make sense to have the playground to the far left and the fields to the right. I do understand that the playground will be closer to the fields and foul balls go over there, much like every other park we have. If you go to Calorie Park, foul balls go that way. If you go to a lot of these parks, the playgrounds are close to the fields because families actually can enjoy the area. But if you have young children and one's in a baseball game and you have somebody who's on the playground, you can't really serve two masters, so you're trying to pull them together. I think it's a very easy project, but I know government moves at snail's pace, but it would help out for parking down there also if you made the parking to the left of that building where the playground is. So if we can really look into that, I think it's comes down to also a fire issue too, because they're double parking down there during the day. And people can't move, they're in fire lanes, it's just, in that area over there could be an overflow parking area. So if we could just look into it, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Another thing I know from working in the parks, where the playground currently is, behind that playground, it's kind of offset. And that was something that was very time consuming because the overgrowth and brush that grows in heavily in the middle of summer. So I think this kind of kills two birds with one stone with that. I think if you did look at moving that area into parking, it eliminates a lot of that overgrowth and brush problem that I think the parks are faced with. Thanks.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.7, Councilor Robinson. Request city manager provide a detailed report on the impact of culvert situation in the area of Circuit Avenue and what programs are available to assist our impacted residents. Seconded by Councilor Scott. Councilor Robinson.
Can I make a motion to put this on next week's agenda, please?
Sure. Motion by Councilor Robinson. Seconded by Councilor Yem. All those in favor? Motion passes. 4.8, Councilor Robinson, Councilor Getchia. Request city manager provide an updated status with detailed assessment of work needed to be done on all city-owned firehouses. No second needed. Mr. Clerk.
Mayor,
Mr. Mayor.
You can hear, Mr. Mayor, it's
if you can bundle that with 4.10, sir.
4.10, Councilor Noon. Request city manager provide an update on the conditions of fire stations in the city, including priority repairs for each station. It was seconded by Councilor Robinson. All those approved. Motion passes. So we have 4.
we got a registered speaker on
4.8, 4.10.
William Hurley. William Hurley. Walter Hurley. Did you register to speak tonight?
Yeah, on the fire equipment.
Floor is yours.
Podium is yours, sir.
I just want to say that the Lowell Fire Department, the Police Department, and the EMTs do a wonderful job. They put their life on the line every day. They deserve the best equipment possible. That's it. Thank you very much.
Councilor Robinson.
I mean, I think this motion is pretty self-explanatory. We all know we're up against some old infrastructure in the city in many areas. So I think the first step with this should be a very detailed assessment of our firehouses and coming up with the scope of the work that's necessary, and then start looking at what's the course of action, the funding mechanism, and the different phases that come along with it. So I think this is at least taking a look at one of the issues that we're all well aware of, so we can start planning. Thank you.
Councilor Getchia?
Thank you, Mayor O'Rourke. Also included in that report, Mr. Manager, I'm just hoping that you highlight with the work that has been done, the work that we have planned to be done, and also the future assets, as Councilor Robinson highlighted and Councilor Noon. So I think it's important to see where we're spending and where we're going with this whole process and the investment we're going to make. Thank you.
Councilor Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand that Mr. Managers have somewhat identified the OPM for the project. And a lot of this firehouse, particularly the Gorham Street one, is 140-something years old. I'm sure there's a lot of needed to be done. I know that we use some ARPA money to do this work. I would also suggest that we should use portion of marijuana excise tax revenue to do this as well as a special fund for repair of municipal building. And of course, firehouse is municipal building. So maybe also looking to do that. And soon as you have the OPM, give us a plan, give us a timeline when all that's going to be done. If one contractor is doing it, it's not enough. Then going through multiple of them so that get it all done as soon as possible. And give us timeline, please, because surely they are frontliner who will protect us, all the residents of Lowell. They need to be taken care of as well. We all agree here, and I'm sure people at home too, that the work that they've done, they put their life on the line for us. So at least we can do is to have places for them that they, that is decent enough. Thank you.
Councilor Leahy?
Thank you. Through you, the manager. I know a lot of work's being done. I've been around to some of the firehouses in the last few weeks. And again, I just want to mention, and I know I've said this before, but when we do our contract negotiations, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if we can't get all this work done in-house. And if we have to sub some of it out, I don't know why some of the firefighters that are electricians, plumbers, carpenters, they're all licensed and insured. I don't know why, if they don't want to put their name in, we could put them on a rotating basis and get some of this work expedited. I see these guys out in the field every day. I'm working with a few firemen that are electricians and this and that, and why not let them bid to work the firehouses and get them done that much faster? So if it's not complicated, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I don't know why we just don't sub some of this out and let them, follow the paperwork, fully insured, let them bid some of the work, put it on a rotating basis. So that would be my suggestion. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 4.9. Councilor Robinson, Councilor Noon, request city manager explore conveying interest to DCAM in regard to a partnership to put out an RFP for the redevelopment of the Superior Courthouse.
There's a registered speaker, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Clerk?
Dennis McCarthy.
Mr. McCarthy, funny seeing you here.
Good evening, City Mayor, City Manager, and City Councilors. My name is Dennis McCarthy. I live at 216 Foster Street. I'm an architect, and I really have a passion for preserving historic structures. I'd like to speak on the importance of repurposing these amazing structures, these courthouses. Our courthouses are a statement buildings that stand the test of time and should be preserved. Finding the right fit for these buildings will take creativity and timing, since we know too well that maintenance is very important to these unused structures. In an effort to provide a more targeted RFP, I would like to suggest utilizing a design competition that would give us ideas, visuals, as well as descriptive narratives to consider. Design competitions typically are open to architectural firms as well as students and can be very useful to cities struggling to find ways to fully appreciate and save these special structures. The winning entry or entries could be incorporated into the RFP in some fashion to help developers see the building's potential. I know housing in these buildings will not be easy, and getting the right mix of development, whether retail and eateries, boutique hotels and housing, maker spaces and galleries, or health and wellness studios, will, in my opinion, be the best way to fully appreciate the extravagant architecture these courthouses have to offer and assure a successful preservation of our treasured edifice. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Councilor Robinson?
Thank you. So in the ad hoc subcommittee, thankfully, Chairman Backey was very clear, explained the whole process to us, very informative. I've had conversations with Mr. McCarthy. I think this is an opportunity to look outside the box and do something different. We always seem to put RFPs out in the same area. We get kind of the same groups looking at them for the most part. And in the majority of the time, the numbers don't jive. With the historic kind of restrictions on the existing Superior Courthouse, it's not realistic that that's going to be repurposed into a ton of housing units. But if you look at the lot size, it is conducive to potential residential construction on the same lot, which could help kind of keep retail and commercial thriving in the existing structure. And the idea of opening it up as a design contest, basically based on the community's needs and wants. So we heard loud and clear from the neighborhood. They are asking for retail and commercial in that space with residential, additional parking opportunities. Those are things that section of the community are in agreement in looking for. So, I mean, you go to Boston, they take old banks, they take, I think, even an old jail somewhere out in that area, and they've repurposed it into a restaurant or different dining halls. I think this is along those lines. The architecture inside the existing structure lends itself to a ton of retail and commercial space. As we've discussed many times here, we're seeing very positive benefits of pop-up retail space, shared space for retail. We've mentioned Time Out Market time and again, adult food courts. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but opening up as a contest, a design contest, based on what the city's looking for, and going out to architects that are either starting out or already working in the field, and it doesn't just have to be in the immediate area. We could open it up, and if a concept comes in that we feel like checks all the boxes the community's looking for, we're a step further. Now, we could have a realistic conversation with DCAM, and does that draw in potential pool of developers that might not have even looked at Lowell as an opportunity in the past? Say there was an architect from Connecticut that came up with the winning concept. Are there developers that might see that in a trade or press or a publication saying that this student came up with this concept to help repurpose potential in Lowell? Does that open the door to developers that aren't even looking in our direction? I don't know, but we will never know unless we're willing to try. So I think we have a great opportunity here to look at a parcel, meet the needs of the neighborhood, meet the needs of the city, meet the needs of the community, and do something different for a change that could lead to, we all step back and say, we're glad we took that shot. So any kind of input or ability to identify if this a reality would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Councilor Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We heard, thank you first to Mr. McCarthy for speaking on the design contest for this, and exploring this idea of self-partnership model certainly will something that we can do in terms of the design contest. We heard from the meeting that we had with the commissioners of DCAM that they want to accelerate the process. Want the trial court hand this building to them, they put it out on an auction, and then it's going to be in the hand of the developer to redevelop. We have no control. The only control we do have is through planning and zoning, but that's not enough control. So we need to explore this option, same option that we had. or we are ongoing right now with the Lowell District Court. This way, we have a say. We can do what Mr. McCarthy suggested, design contests, put out the OIP. This is what we're looking for. And we also heard loud and clear the resident of the the South Lowell, the Back Central. They do not want just housing. They want a mixed use, as Councillor Robinson spoke of, which is the retail, commercial, and residential upstairs. I know it's going to be difficult. It's not easy, expensive when you do a building like Lowell Superior Court. Not many developers going to come and do that. So how we start doing that is by opening it up, inviting interest developers to come in. But first, we need to explore possibilities of a cell partnership model with the DCAM so that we can get start off the idea that we wanted to have a control from the beginning as to the kind of OIP we were going to put out to the developer. And that is the only way you get a control of this. But, you know, it may be maybe impossible for the city to do that. That's why we asked to explore a possibility of doing that, right? And if possible, let's do it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 411. Councilor Noon requests city manager work with the Pollard Memorial Library to provide a schedule and locations where the bookmobile can get books to children in neighborhoods. Seconded by Councilor Mercier. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A while ago, I filed this motion about the bookmobile because I truly believe that this is one way the library can deliver the resources that they have to the people that have difficulty or not easy access to the library. Bring the library resources to where they are at. Identify, I think I'm looking for maybe the library to look for, identify the best route and stop for the bookmobile to go and work on it and put it out there a week or two before they head out there. I think this is going to be great for many people. It's not about book only, but also help in terms of the service that the library provide. I sat there in the library, people come in and ask for, help with the license. How do I get my license, a green card, and stuff like that. People help people there. They do a lot of things that we don't know. When they go out to the community, they can do the same over there as well. Schedule, best location, and so that's. We want to know, want to get a report on that. The summers is right around the corner. So let's start that.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. At the Centerville Neighborhood Action Group meeting, we were having discussions similar along these lines. And one thing I think would kind of be a great partnership as well is if somehow the library could work with our rec department, because they're doing the summer programming at all the parks in all the districts all summer long, and the kids, young kids to older kids. So if that's something, maybe part of that schedule, maybe it rotates. If the library staff and crew have the means to do it, I mean, we have kids at every park pretty much in every district all summer long. And if that's something that rec department can kind of set their clocks to, and the library can set their clocks to, it might be something that works to be able to access kids that you might not necessarily be able to get downtown. So I think that's one option to consider also. Thank you.
Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to Councilor Noon for this motion. It's an excellent motion, as was the purchase of the bookmobile. It's an incredible asset for the city of Lowell. I would also echo what Councilor Robinson said at the South Lowell neighborhood meeting. What was brought up was activities for the children, whether or not that was going to be part of the schedule, and also what the schedule is. It's not posted online at this point in time. There is an online form you can go on. You can ask for the bookmobile to come out to your nonprofit or whatever group you want, the senior center, and they will do that. But they were asking, when will it be out in the neighborhood? So that's also what we heard there. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Moving on, Section 5, Communications from the City Manager. 5.1, motion responses. A, dog waste stations. Councilor Robinson.
I'd just like to say thank you. Thank everybody involved that got these done. If they end up being a great plus to the neighborhood. Maybe it's something that, see, again, I've heard from 3 people so far just in my neighborhood that, hey, let the manager and his team know, thank you, we use those dog waste stations. If it's something that's good and it's not too much hassle, maybe you look to expand. But the resident that came and presented this to the council, I know she's thrilled. And again, she got to learn the process of, you have an idea as a resident, you reach out, you present your idea, and if it's doable, the council and the administration is more than willing to work with you. So again, thank everyone involved, and it seems to be a success so far. Thank you.
Councilor Janess?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to my colleague for the motion. Thanks to the administration for the response. I'd like to echo that. There's a lot of places that I can think of that, walking around with my dog, I always bring bags with me, of course. I know most of us do who own dogs, but there's plenty of spaces where you see there's someone didn't bring a bag or they ran out, and it's, there's some trouble spots. So I'd be happy to sit down and share some of those trouble spots with you, and maybe we can look at rolling out a few of these waste stations around the other neighborhoods as well. Thank you.
Motion response B, jet ski operation enforcement. Council Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Superintendent Hudon for the report and the coordinations that his team, the LPD with the Chelmsford, Tingsboro, and the Mass Environmental Officers, get a head start on this. So thank you for the report, and thank you for the teamwork with other entities, city and town.
Council Yam?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question through you to Mr. Manager, and you don't need to answer this right away because what happened is I noticed that some Saturday morning there is a float plane, yellow, landed on the river. Is that something that permissible to do, or do they need permission from the city? Do they notify the city before they land the float plane on the river? Thank you.
Superintendent, want to get back to the council on that one? Thank you. Motion response C, Mass Pirates practice. Myself and Councilor Chow, all good. Thank the Board of Parks for their assistance with this, and I'm happy with it. Councilor Janess?
Thank you. I was just wondering if it might be possible, partner with either the rec department or maybe the schools or someone, just to be able to possibly invite some of the kids down to the practice, on some day. Some kids who may not have a chance to see a game at the Songus, but maybe they can come down and watch practice, and might be a good time.
Mr. Machado?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the Board of Parks members suggested that, and the member from the Pirates seemed willing to do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Councilor Yam?
Just a quick comment, and thank you for helping Mass Pirate. They were great, and we enjoyed the game at the opening night. A good thing also, they won the game as well. So I really think this is awesome for our city to have a indoor football game in addition to the hockey, women hockey game as well. Thank you for doing that, accommodating the Pirate. Thank you.
Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report is great news about the Pirates able to have their practice at the South Common. I know for a fact that the South Common was booked solid, so to know that they work things out with the other groups to allow the Pirates to practice there, that's excellent. I'm happy to see this report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Motion response D, school playgrounds. I believe this stemmed from a daily school playground motion. Councilor Getchia? Oh, I apologize. Councilor Chow, I'm sorry. Mr. Manager?
Mr. Mayor, through you to the council, apologize. That was from City Councilor Chow. Him not being here tonight, maybe we should hold that till next week, if that's okay with if that's the will of the council.
Any other comments from councilors? No. Motion response E, Sunshine. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Again, I know these things take time. I think it's like the building is one owner, the sign is owned by a different organization. But I'm just glad to see that the work is ongoing, and hopefully we can get that done at some point. Thank you.
Motion response F, Councilor Yam of the Acre. Councilor Yam?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you for the report. I just have a quick questions regarding the timeline. When do you know that we will be starting this? In addition to that would be the Suffolk crossing, which is the next phase of the acre crossing that happened on the Market Street side. Will the road work will be finished or before or after the Suffolk place will be done? In addition to that, my also a request is that, and question two, will this redesign of the road using the smart street and complete street concept, because this is an opportunity for the city to incorporate these kind of concept into this renovation and development of the street. In addition, if you may have conversation with the LRTA, because again, the construction crew and the management at the acre crossing ask if they can, we can install a bus shelter right in front of the acre crossing while we're doing this. And lastly, my question would be from Cabot Street on the Salem Street side all the way to Pawtucket Street, maybe having conversation with the Lowell Housing Authority and UMass Lowell to maybe update and upgrade it, the street, because that section is all a heat island. The building that owned by this Lowell Housing Authority are all concrete, and the sidewalk and everything can use and update to accommodate more of a reduce the heat island. Thank you.
Ms. Baez-Rose, you get all that?
I tried to take notes, so hopefully I'll be able to answer all the questions.
I can repeat that again, and no problem.
We're all set there. You go.
So we anticipate that we'll get the design documents this spring. So if we can go out to bid pretty quickly, we might be able to get somebody started this summer on that work. And so that's our anticipated timeline, but I am still cautious until we actually have the 100% design documents. The scope of this particular work is surrounding acre crossing only. So knowing that the same project team is proposing a kind of phase 2 Suffolk Place, it is our intention to, the state just opened or will be opening at the end of this month the One Stop for Community Growth applications, which is the avenue in which we would apply for a MassWorks grant. And so our intention is to put in another MassWorks grant, which is how we're paying for this first phase, for the area around Suffolk Place and extend that further down Market Street. And so to sort of wrap around the entire, so it would essentially be the entire block. Let's see what else. The bus shelters, once the sidewalk work is complete, we can talk to the LRTA about bus shelters at the location. The LRTA essentially determines where their bus stops are. Besides that, we have a flag down system, so we could certainly talk to them if they were interested in having a permanent location there and not have it act as a flag location. Then we can talk to them about a shelter, and it would probably match the ones that we have existing. And then as far as, in inserting some more like greenery, landscape, soft materials, so it's not all concrete or hardscape in and around the area, that is a part of the design that we're working on this first phase. So assuming we get funded for Suffolk Place would be something that we would mirror. We're also hoping to have access to some federal earmark funds to do some additional improvements along Merrimack Street. And, things like bioswales and tree pits and those sorts of things are things that we're continuing to try to adopt into our design standards. The right-of-way from Cabot to Pawtucket is all city-owned, so, we could add it to our list of improvements as we're looking to make sidewalk improvements in that area. And I think I covered everything.
Thank you so much, and I like the concept of waste. Bio-waste. I think that's what it's supposed to be, right? Bio-waste.
Bioswale.
Swale, yeah, bioswale, yes. That's a really good to help. We talked about there are some issue about the rainwater going through the to the street, and it flood the area, and this will help a lot reducing that. And I appreciate the concept, and that's what my question regarding the smart street and the complete street concept, that using this type of ideas, and down the road when we have the opportunity to redo the street over, and add this concept into it so that it will reduce the water into the sewer lines. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion response G, 355 Market Street. Councilor Yem.
Thank you for the report. I saw the report, and then you have like 2 long paragraph and then 1 smaller paragraph say, sorry, it's too late. I appreciate that, but here's my point is that we are committed as a city to reduce the carbon footprint by 20% by 2025, and any small amount that we can do to reduce that carbon footprint, and utilizing the solar system, not just on the roof, but any little things that we can do to reduce that will be greatly appreciated. And I will encourage that we include the sustainability department and director that we work with, that the city has to work with these kind of project moving forward, to take advantage of that. Thank you.
Motion response H, Page Monument. Councilor Robinson and Councilor Mercia. Councilor Mercia.
Well, the report was very good, because I think that it's very important that we honor people that go back many, many years and give it their time, their service, their sweat, you name it. This couple has done so much for the city of Lowell, and we're going to be here next Tuesday at 5:30 in the mayor's reception room, are we not? But I'll let you handle that. But so I'm very glad that the CNAG group knows all about this, and they're looking for a spot. I'm sure they'll find something, and we'll try our best to make it worth their whiles, because this is quite an honor for people that deserve it. So thank you.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to echo my colleague's sentiments. And I think it's great. I think Centerville Neighborhood Action Group, George Procope and his team over there, they're very excited about making this happen. George has a great working relationship with the Pages, as many do, and I think this is something that the neighborhood and community are looking forward to, so thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion to accept and place on file all responses by Councilor Yem, second by Councilor Scott. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Section 6, ordinance from the city manager. We can do 6.1 and 6.2 together, both for the same date of April 23rd. 6.1, ordinance, amend the fee schedule, residential parking signs. 6.2, amend parking rates FY24. 1 reading is needed for both. A motion to kick it out to April 23rd by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Scott. Is that a roll call or just all in favor? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Section 7, reports. 7.1, rules, election subcommittee. The chair is not here tonight. We'll kick that out until April 9th. 7.2, transportation subcommittee, held tonight. Councilor Dakota tonight or next week?
Report out next week.
Next week, yes, sir, till April 9th. 7.3, wiring inspector, the National Grid requests installation of underground conduit from pole 37 to feed new transformer onto property at 735 Broadway Street. On the motion to accept and adopt the accompanying order from the wiring inspector by Councilor Getchia, second by Councilor Janess. All in favor say aye. Motion passes. Section 8, petitions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of questions through you to the city solicitor about, I'm not saying anything about these particular motions, but if an incident happened on the Lowell connector, are we the city of Lowell responsible for that? Because if there was a pothole or something on the highway,
Is this under claims, Counselor?
Oh, is this claims?
Is it under claims?
Claims.
All right, I'll read it, then your question.
Okay, yes.
8.1 claims, 6 property damages. Motion to refer to Law Department for report recommendation by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Getchia. Councilor Mercia.
Yes, thank you, through you to the city solicitor. I'm just asking out of curiosity, not to say we don't pay it or whatever. I don't have any right to do that. But if something happens on the Lowell connector, are we, the city, responsible for any of that? I thought the state owned the roadway at the Lowell connector.
Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that's a state highway, so that wouldn't have anything to do with
So
the city.
someone got a damage on the Lowell connector and they're suing the city. I'm kind of concerned about that, right?
Yes.
I'm not mentioning any names. And the
Right.
second thing is, if a National Grid pole had a wire that came off and damaged or broke somebody's window, would the city of Lowell be responsible for that, or would it be National Grid? We're not National Grid, right?
Mr. Williams?
Correct, yeah, we're not National Grid, so in that scenario, again, it would
Okay.
not be the city.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Councilor Mercia, you should join the Law Department. You took care of a bunch of cases right there. Well done. Motion was made, seconded. All those in favor say aye. Motion passes. Section 9, announcements. Councilor Yem. Oh, sorry, Councilor Noon first, then Councilor.
Oh, go ahead. Councilor Yem.
I think he wants to wait. Do you want to make your announcement now?
Right, Mr. Mayor. Well, on behalf of a committee that hosts a New Year, Khmer New Year dinner, we had it last year at the Inland Conference Center, and this year, unfortunately, it's been housed for the migrant. This year, we are doing it this Saturday, April 6th, at the Olympic Restaurants, formerly known as Sunnydale Restaurants, from 6:30 to midnight. All my colleagues are invited, not only the council, but also we did through the superintendent of school, invite all the school committee and the state delegations as well, and all those who are interested of going. It's going to be this Saturday, April 6th, start at 6:30 to midnight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Councilor Yem?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the entire council, I want to wish my colleague, Eric Kitchier, a happy and healthy birthday. Enjoy your day.
We all turned 60, right, Councilor? So, yeah, right. LTC, they debuted tonight. They're the new format in the video. It looks terrific, HD, so it's obviously bad news for the manager and myself. But it's good news for Councilor Dakotas. I'm sure all the fan mail now will quadruple for the handsome John. Motion to adjourn by Councilor Robinson, second by Councilor Yem. Good night.
Gee whiz. Wow.
What a record. Wow. 7:30 now.